Nyaya Sahita, Chapter 5 Offenses Against Women and Children. Sexual Offenses, Section 63 Rape, 64 Punishment for Rape, 65 Punishment for Rape in certain cases, 66 Punishment for causing death or resulting in persistent vegetative state of victim. 67. Sexual intercourse by husband upon his wife during separation. 68. Sexual intercourse by a person in authority. 69. Sexual intercourse by employing deceitful means, etc. 70. Gang rape. 71. Punishment for repeat offender. 72. Disclosure of identity of victim of certain offenses, etc. 73. Printing or publishing any matter relating to court proceedings without permission. Criminal force and assault against women. 74. Assault or use of criminal force to women with intent to outrage her modesty. 75. Sexual harassment. 76. Assault or use of criminal force to a woman with intent to disrobe. 77. Voyeurism. 78. Stalking. 79. Word, gesture, or act intended to insult modesty of women. Offenses relating to marriage. 80. Dowry death. 81. Cohabitation caused by man deceitfully inducing belief of lawful marriage. 82. Marrying again during lifetime of husband or wife. 83. Marriage ceremony fraudulently gone through without lawful marriage. 84. Enticing or taking away or detaining with criminal intent a married woman. 85. Husband or relative of husband of woman subjecting her to cruelty. 86. Cruelty defined. 87. Kidnapping, abducting, or inducing women to compel her marriage, etc. Causing miscarriage. 88. Causing miscarriage. 89. Causing miscarriage without woman's consent. 90. Death caused by act done with intent to cause miscarriage. 91. Act done with intent to prevent child being born alive or to cause to die after birth. 92. Causing death of quick unborn child by act amounting to culpable homicide. Offenses against child. 93. Exposure and abandonment of child under 12 years of age by parent or person having care of it. 94. Concealment of birth by secret disposal of dead body. 95. Hiring, employing, or engaging a child to commit an offense. 96. Procuration of child. 97. Kidnapping or abducting child under 10 years of age with intent to steal from its person. 98. Selling child for purpose of prostitution, etc. 99. Buying child for purpose of prostitution, etc. Chapter 6 Offenses affecting human body. Offenses affecting life. 100. Culpable homicide. 101. Murder. 102. Culpable homicide by causing death of a person other than person whose death was intended, that is transfer of malice. 103. Punishment for murder. 104. Punishment for murder by life convict. 105. Punishment for culpable homicide not amounting to murder. 106. Causing death by negligence. 107. Abetment of suicide of child or person of unsound mind. 108. Abetment of suicide any other person except section 107. 109. Attempt to murder. 110. Attempt to culpable homicide. 111. Organized crime newly introduced. 112 also petty organized crime, and 113 terrorist act. Hurt 114 hurt, 115 voluntary causing hurt, 116 grievous hurt, 717 voluntary causing grievous hurt, 118 voluntary causing hurt or grievous hurt by dangerous weapons or means, 119 voluntary causing hurt or grievous hurt to extort property or to consent to an illegal act, 120 voluntary causing hurt or grievous hurt to extort confession or to compel restoration of property, 121 voluntary causing hurt or grievous hurt to deter public servant from his duty, 122 voluntary causing hurt or grievous hurt on provocation, 123 causing hurt by means of poison etc. with intent to commit an offense, 124 voluntary causing grievous hurt by use of acid etc. 125 act endangering life or personal safety of others, wrongful restraint and wrongful confinement, 126 127 criminal force and assault, 128 force, 129 criminal force, 130 assault, 131 punishment for assault criminal force otherwise than on grave provocation, 132 assault or criminal force to deter public servant for discharge of his duty, 133 assault or criminal force with intent to dishonor person otherwise than on grave provocation, 134 assault or criminal force in attempt to commit theft of property carried by a person, 135 assault or criminal force in attempt to wrongfully confine a person, 136 assault or criminal force on grave provocation, kidnapping, abduction, slavery and forced labor, 137 kidnapping, 138 abduction, 139 kidnapping or maiming a child for purpose of begging, 140 kidnapping or abducting in order to murder or for ransom etc. 141 importation of girl or boy by boy from foreign country, 142 wrongfully concealing or keeping in confinement kidnapped or abducted person, 143 trafficking of person, 144 exploitation of a trafficked person, 145 habitual dealing in slaves, 146 unlawful compulsory labor. Chapter 7 Offenses against state, 147 waging or attempting to wage war or abetting waging of war against government of India, 148 conspiracy to commit offences punishable by section 147, 149 collecting arms etc. with intent of waging war against government of India, 150 concealing with intent to facilitate design to wage war, 151 assaulting president, governor etc. with intent to compel or restrain exercise of any lawful power, 152 act endangering sovereignty, unity and integrity of India, 153 waging war against government of any foreign state at peace with government of India, 154 committing depredation on territories of foreign state at peace with government of India, 155 receiving property taken by war or depredation mentioned in section 153 and 154. 156. Public servant voluntary allowing prisoner of state or war to escape. 157. Public servant negligently suffering such prisoners to escape. 158. Aiding escape of recurring or harboring such prisoner. Chapter 8. Offenses relating to Army, Navy, and Air Force. 159. Abetting mutiny or attempting to seduce a soldier, sailor, airman from his duty. 160. Abatement of mutiny if mutiny is committed in consequences thereof. 161. Abatement of assault by soldier, sailor, airman on his superior officer when in execution of his office. 162. Abatement of such assault if assault committed. 163. Abatement of desertion of soldier, sailor, or airman. 164. Harboring deserter. 165. Deserter concealed on board merchant vessel through negligence of master. 166. Abatement of act of unsubordination by soldier, sailor, or airman. 167. Persons subject to certain act. 168. Wearing garb or carrying token used by soldier, sailor, or airman. Chapter 9. Offenses relating to election. Section 169. Definition candidate electoral right. 170. Bribery. 171. Undue influence at election. 172. Personation at election. 173. Punishment for bribery. 174. Punishment for undue influence or personation at election. 175. False statement in a connection with election. 176. Illegal payment in connection with election. 177. Failure to keep election account. Chapter 10. Offenses relating to coin, currency notes, bank notes, and government stamps. 178. Counterfeiting coin, government stamp, currency notes, or bank notes. 179. Using as genuine, forged or counterfeit coin, government stamp, currency notes, or bank notes. 180. Possession of forged or counterfeit coin, government stamp, currency notes, or bank notes. 181. Making or possessing instruments or material for forging or counterfeiting coin, government stamp, currency notes, or bank notes. 182. Making or using documents resembling currency notes or bank notes. 183. Effacing writing from substance bearing government stamp or removing from document a stamp used for it with intent to cause loss to government. 184. Using government stamp known to have been before used. 185. Erasure of mark denoting that stamp has been used. 186. Prohibition of fictitious stamp. 187. Person employed in mint causing coin to be of different weight or composition from that fixed by law. 188. Unlawfully taking coining instrument from mint. Chapter 11. Offenses against public tranquility. 189. Unlawful assembly. 190. Every member of unlawful assembly guilty of offense committed in prosecution of common object. This section, also called as common object or vicarious liability. Section 191, writing. Section 192, wantonly giving provocation with intent to cause right if writing be committed, if not committed. 193, liability of owner, occupier, etc. of land on which an unlawful assembly or right taken place. 194, affray. 195, assaulting or obstructing public servant when suppressing right, etc. 196, promoting enmity between different groups on grounds of religion, race, place of birth, residence, language, etc., and doing act prejudicial to maintenance of harmony. 197, imputation, assertion prejudicial to national integration. Chapter 12, offences by or relating to public servant. Section 198, public servant disobeying law with intent to cause injury to any person. 199, public servant disobeying direction under law. 200, punishment for non-treatment of victim. 201, public servant framing an incorrect document with intent to cause injury. 202, public servant unlawfully engaging in trade. 203, public servant unlawfully buying or bidding for property. 204, personating a public servant. 205, wearing garb or carrying token used by public servant with fraudulent intent. Chapter 13, contempt of the lawful authority of public servant. 206, absconding to avoid service of summons or other proceedings. 207, preventing service of summons or other proceedings or preventing publication thereof. 208, non-attendance in obedience to an order from public servant. 209, non-appearance in response to proclamation under Section 84 of Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Sanhita. 2023. 210, omission to produce document or electronic record to public servant by person legally bound to produce it. 211, omission to give notice or information to public servant by person legally bound to give. 212, fabricating false evidence. 212, furnishing false information. 213, refusing oath or affirmation when duly required by public servant to make it. 214, refusing to answer public servant authorized to question. 215, refusing to sign statement. 216, false statement on oath or affirmation to public servant or person authorized to administer an oath or affirmation. 217, false information when intent to cause public servant to use his lawful power to injury of another person. 218, resistance to taking of property by lawful authority of public servant. 219, obstructing sale of property offered for sale by authority of public servant. 220, illegal purchase or bid for property offered for sale by authority of public servant. 221. Obstructing public servant in discharge of public functions. 222. Omission to assist public servant when bound by law to give assistance. 221. Obstructing public servant in discharge of public function. 222. Omission to assist public servant when bound by law to give assistance. 223. Disobedience to order duly promulgated by public servant. 224. Threat of injury to public servant. 225. Threat of injury to induce person to refrain from applying for protection to public servant. 226. Attempt to commit suicide to compel or restrain exercise of lawful power. Chapter 14. False evidence and offences against public justice. 227. Giving false evidence. 228. Fabricating false evidence. 229. Punishment for false evidence. 230. Giving or fabricating false evidence with intent to procure conviction of capital punishment. 231. Giving or fabricating false evidence with intent to procure conviction of offence punishable with imprisonment for life or imprisonment. 232. Threatening any person to give false evidence. 233. Using evidence known to be false. 234. Issuing or signing false certificate. 235. Using as true a certificate known to be false. 236. False statement made in declaration which is by law receivable as evidence. 237. Using as true such declaration knowing to be false. 238. Causing disappearance of evidence of offence or give false information to screen offender. 239. Intentional omission to give information of offence by person bound to inform. 240. Giving false information respecting an offence committed. 241. Destruction of document or electronic record to prevent its production as evidence. 242. False personation for purpose of act or proceeding in suit or prosecution. 243. Fraudulent removal or concealment of property to prevent its seizure as forfeited or in execution. 244. Fraudulent claim to property to prevent its seizure as forfeited or in execution. 245. Fraudulently suffering decree for sum not due. 246. Dishonestly making false claim in court. 247. Fraudulently obtaining decree for sum not due. 248. False charge of offence made with intent to injure. 249. Harboring offender. 250. Taking gift etc. to screen an offender from punishment. 251. Offering gift or restoration of property in consideration of screening offender. 252. Taking gift to help to recover stolen property etc. 253. Harboring offender who has escaped from custody or whose apprehension has been ordered. 254. Penalty for harboring robbers or dacoits. 255. Public servant disobeying direction of law with intent to save person from punishment or property from forfeiture. 256. Public servant framing incorrect record or writing with intent to save person from punishment or property from forfeiture. 257. Public servant in judicial proceedings, corruptly making report, etc. to contrary to law. 258. Commitment for trial or confinement by person having authority who knows that he is acting contrary to law. 259. Intentional omission to apprehend on part of public servant bound to apprehend. 260. Intentional omission to apprehend on part of public servant bound to apprehend person under sentence or lawful committed. 261. Escape from confinement or custody negligently suffered by public servant. 262. Resistant or obstruction by to lawful apprehension of another person. 264. Omission to apprehend or sufferance of escape or on part of public servant in cases not otherwise provided. 265. Resistance or obstruction to lawful apprehension or escape or rescue in cases not otherwise provided for. 266. Violation of condition of remission of punishment. 267. Intentional insult or interruption to public servant sitting in judicial proceedings. 268. Personation of assessor. 269. Failure by person released on bail bond or bond to appear in court. Chapter 15. Offences affecting public health, safety, convenience, decency and morals. 270. Public nuisance. 271. Negligent act likely to spread infectious disease dangerous to life. 272. Malignant act likely to spread infection of disease dangerous to life. 273. Disobedience to quarantine rule. 274. Adulteration of food or drink intended for sale. 275. Sale of noxious food or drink. 276. Adulteration of drug. 277. Sale of adulterated drugs. 278. Sale of drug as different drug or preparation. 279. Falling water of public spring or reservoir. 280. Making atmosphere noxious to health. 280. Rash driving or riding on public way. 282. Rash navigation of vessel. 283. Exhibition of false light, mark or buoy. 284. Conveying person by water for hire in unsafe or overloaded vessel. 285. Danger or obstruction in public way or line of navigation. 286. Negligent conduct with respect to poisonous substance. 287. Negligent conduct with respect to fire or combustible matter. 288. Negligent conduct with respect to explosive substance. 289. Negligent conduct with respect to machinery. 290. Negligent conduct with respect to pulling down, repairing or constructing building, etc. 291. Negligent conduct with respect to animal. 292. Punishment for public nuisance in cases not otherwise provided for. 293. Continuance of nuisance after injunction to discontinue. 294. Sale, etc. of obscene books, etc. 295. Sale, etc. of obscene object to child. 296. Obscene act and songs. 297. Keeping lottery office. Chapter 16. Offences relating to religion. 298. Injuring or defiling place of worship with intent to insult religion of any class. 299. deliberate and malicious act intended to outrage religious feelings of any class by insulting its religion or religious belief. 300. Disturbing religious assembly. 301. Trespassing on burial places, etc. 302. Uttering word, etc. with deliberate intent to bond irreligious feeling of any person. Chapter 17. Offenses against property. Theft. 303. Theft. 304. Snatching. 305. Theft in dwelling house, mean of transportation, place of worship, etc. 306. Theft by clerk, servant of property in possession of master. 307. Theft after preparation made for causing death, hurt, restraint in order to committing theft. Extortion. 308. Robbery and Dacoity. 309. Robbery. 310. Dacoity. 311. Robbery or dacoity with attempt to cause death or grievous hurt. 312. Attempt to commit robbery or dacoity when armed with deadly weapon. 313. Punishment for belonging to a gang of dacoits, gang of robbers, etc. Criminal misappropriation of property. 314. Dishonest misappropriation of property. 315. Dishonest misappropriation of property possessed by deceased person at the time of his death. Criminal breach of trust. 316. Receiving stolen property. 317. Stolen property. Cheating. 318. Cheating. 319. Cheating by personation. Fraudulent death and disposition of property. Fraudulent deeds and disposition of property. 320. Dishonest or fraudulent removal or concealment of property to prevent distribution among creditors. 321. Dishonestly or fraudulently preventing debt being available for creditors. 322. Dishonest or fraudulent execution of deed of transfer containing false statement of consideration. 323. Dishonest or fraudulent removal or concealment of property. 324. Mischief. 325. Mischief by killing or maiming animal. 326. Mischief by injury, inundation, fire or explosive substance, etc. 327. Mischief with intent to destroy or make unsafe rail, aircraft, decked vessel or one of 20 tons burden. 328. Punishment for intentionally running vessel aground or ashore with intent to commit theft, etc. Criminal trespass. 329. Criminal trespass and house trespass. 330. House trespass and house breaking. 331. Punishment for house trespass or house breaking. 332. House trespass in order to commit offense. 333. House trespass after preparation for hurt, assault or wrongful restraint. 334. Dishonestly breaking open receptacle containing property. Chapter 18. Offenses relating to document and property marks. Section 335. For making false document. 336. Forgery. 337. Forgery of record of court or public register, etc. 338. Forgery of valuable security, will, etc. 339. Having possession of document described in section 337 or 338, knowing it to be forged and intending to use it as genuine. 340. Forged document or electronic record and using it as genuine. 341. Making or possessing counterfeit seal, etc., with intent to commit forgery, punishable under Section 338. 342. Counterfeiting device or mark used for authenticating document described in Section 338 or possessing counterfeit marked material. 343. Fraudulent cancellation, destruction, etc. of will, authority to adopt or valuable security. 344. Falsification of accounts. Property marks. 345. Property mark. 346. Tampering with property mark with intent to cause injury. 347. Counterfeiting a property mark. 348. Marking or possession of any instrument for counterfeit a property mark. 349. Selling goods marked with a counterfeit property mark. 350. Making a false mark upon any receptacle containing goods. Chapter 19. Criminal intimidation, insult, annoyance, defamation, etc. Section 351. Criminal intimidation. 352. Intentional insult with intent to provoke breach of peace. 353. Statement conducting to public mischief. 354. Act caused by inducing person to believe that he will be rendered an object of divine displeasure. 355. Misconduct in public by drunken person. Defamation. 356. Breach of contract to attend and supply wants of helpless person. 357. Breach of contract to attend and supply wants of helpless person. Chapter 20. Repeal and saving. Section 358.